The Irish Film Festival London returned in November with a programme that boasted 5 days of feature films, documentaries and short films. Hosted by Irish Film and Television UK, formerly known as Irish Film London, it has been their flagship festival since its formation in 2011. Saturday saw a screening of Girls and Boys, a love story that deals with trans issues.
The nugget of it, I guess, came from my own experiences of just being in sports and drama, and being friends with both a lot of straight people and knowing a lot of queer people, and that kind of the conflict that can happen between them, tension between those two communities sometimes. And as you get older, I think, particularly out of your teen years, sometimes a divide occurs between kids who are straight and queer that weren't there when they were younger. The innocence is kind of gone. I wanted to show that, what that was like in college when people are really kind of grappling with that and maybe even missing people that they used to be close with. So then when I met Leah Hannon, who plays Charlie, I met her and cast her a full year before we shot. So she and I worked on the script, and we workshopped scenes, and she brought some of her ideas to the character and some of her experiences, and then I kind of really shaped the role for her. So it went through a very long process to get to what was the final product on screen.
No, it is kind of a first of its kind in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of trans films, even in the Irish context, like The Crying Game. But yeah, this does kind of raise it, because I think it is what I liked so much about it, even from when I first read the script, is it's kind of just a very beautiful kind of love story where one of the characters happens to be trans. And I think that's what kind of makes it so sort of exciting and revolutionary, is it doesn't kind of make it any kind of issue, it just is.
Yeah, and I think it's a very Irish story. It's a very Dublin-centric story, and really Dublin is one of the heroes of the film, but it's also very universal. So it's exciting to see it outside of Ireland for the first time and see how it's received here.
Aoife Kelleher returned to the festival with her documentary testimony about the Justice for Magdalene's campaign.
Their stories were actually testimony, and that counted as a form of evidence.
So I really felt that every day filming it was a privilege, I mean, it was a story that I felt really needed to be told, and I know, there have been beautiful films made on not dissimilar topics, Sinead O'Shea's Pray for Our Sinners, or Margot Harkin's Stolen, but I think the focus with Testimony is really on kind of the state failures and the work that remains to be done if Ireland is really going to engage in a serious process of truth and reconciliation. So, so we're glad to be part of the conversation, and to be amplifying the work that Justice for Magdalenes have done and the voices of survivors. I think that it's been, very reassuring to see how the survivors have responded to the film itself, and also, to the process of being involved in all of the screenings. It's been quite visible that that they've found it very empowering, and that they've chosen to speak at they spoke this evening. Madeleine Marvier spoke this evening, which was really powerful, about her experiences in Bessborough. So, I mean, the nature of documentary is that it's it's collaborative, and you really want to feel that your contributors' voices have been heard and that their stories have been honoured.
The game's changed, and we need to be prepared.
Saturday came to a close with Saipan, the film about Roy Keane and Mick McCarthy's infamous falling out on the eve of the 2002 World Cup.
We don't have footballs.
We can manage without that stuff.
Without footballs.
It'd be better if we had footballs.
Because obviously it is a story that football lovers may well know and be very interested in, but absolutely we wanted to make it. It's a film about the psychology of two really interesting characters. It's a film about, it's a shipwreck story about two people far away from home having to confront things about themselves. It's about national identity. It's comedic. It's a very dramatic story. We really hoped that a huge audience would connect with it, and it really seems to be the case so far.
Indeed, you want to add to that?
Yeah, the first place that we showed it was in Toronto at the TIFF Film Festival there, and obviously it's a North American audience who maybe aren't quite as au fait with a lot of football or soccer. So it went down really well there, and there was a really positive reaction in the Q&A afterwards. So yes, it seems to be resonating with audiences all over the place, which we love.
It really was a seminal moment in Irish history, and there's a reason that people kept talking about it, that people talked about it so much at the time. It really entered the sort of mythology of modern Ireland, and I think that was because it had so many ingredients that people could respond to, and it became a lens to sort of look at different aspects of the national psyche. Different people identify with different parts of the story. So yeah, it's been told so often in documentary, in lots of articles written about it, radio programs. So this is our version of a story that we hope people will still enjoy hearing.
I'm a massive soccer fan, as you know, and I've been following the Irish team for a while, and I don't know how I feel to be here, but I can imagine how I'd feel if I wasn't, and I was watching this movie and I wasn't in it. Like, I just adore the Irish team so much, so to be part of that is class. And Alan Kelly is a legend, and I've got to know him a little bit through it, and it's a scary story to be part of in a way, but no, it's good.
Something is showing me, right, man.
The final day started with a screening of Amanda, the documentary about the artist Amanda Cullen, a survivor who has used art as her therapy.
I hope I've gotten across really clear that the creative route is a powerful route that will not hurt you back if you're doing. It won't hurt you. In my experience, if you have that intention somewhere to put it, whereas the legal system, my experience was it does hurt you. It takes all your money and it doesn't give you results. So, yeah, the arts, powerful, more powerful than politics.
Arts can be powerful. And same thing.
Politics, it puts politics in its place, which is like minuscule compared to the creative force, We all have access to that. Where sometimes, it's given to us that we don't have a connection with that. We fucking do. That's our power. And we do. We're all plugged into a higher. As long as this is beaten, we've plugged into that fucking energy, and But, Jesus, we need, so gratitude for that strength from the higher power, the mystery.
I think for me with the film there is an element of completion that it's important in terms of, for me personally, the idea that an awareness that we are all capable of harm is important. It's important to remind ourselves that we can always cause harm and that we need to be careful. And on the other hand, and for Amanda, I suppose, her voice, which she's always had, was silenced for so long. So the film, in a way, becomes a platform for that voice that's always been there, really. So for me, that element of completion, that the voice that's always been there, has a platform in the form of the film, and that this idea that we need to keep ourselves in check, maybe, or be aware that we can harm, even when we try to do good, it's important.
This was followed by a screening of the 1995 film Korea, which featured a very young Andrew Scott in his first film role.
Andrew Scott's gone on to be great. We all know that. You really found a gem there, didn't you? Could you see the potential in him there?
Yeah, I mean, once you sort of put the camera on him, as it were, you just thought, wow, yeah, this guy is going to be quite big, and he worked beautifully well both with Fiona and with Donald Donnelly, and they kind of set up this little bond. They were together all the time, and they were really working on their parts, and yeah, it was quite touching to see how well they gelled together, and brought a lot to the production, and helped me along as well, because sometimes there's a certain amount of tension and maybe something isn't working right and you're trying to get it done within a certain amount of time, and you're you're at your wits' end, you know. But no, they were fantastic, yeah.